Credit sweeps exposed. And this is not a clickbaity type video. This is a serious matter. And I'm creating this because I feel like it could either help you as an individual or you as a credit specialist who's performing credit sweeps. What up? You got Mr. Smith, point five of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And in this brief video, I want to talk about credit sweep and expose them because a lot of people are talking about credit sweep and it's gaining a little bit of popularity. And I've even had potential clients ask me if I do credit sweeps because it appeared to be favorable to them, so they wanted me to do it. So what is a credit sweep? Basically, a credit sweep, from my understanding, and initially when somebody asked me about it, I knew that it wasn't something that seemed like I was into. I'll just say that. So I just kind of said, well, we take a holistic approach to your score, and just gave them my rundown on how we want you to have a solid score, not just trying to sweep stuff off your report. But basically, a sweep is basically what it sounds like, sweeping a certain amount of negative items off of your report all in one swing. And many people are getting results using that method in a matter of weeks, days, short amount of time, sweeping off a decent amount off your report. So I understand how, as an individual who wants their credit to be boosted, can fall victim to that form of marketing because people want things in lightning speed. When I was growing up, they used to say we lived in a microwave society. I tend to look at people now, and we've outgrown the microwave society because even though the microwave is quick in comparison to what used to be the form of cooking, it's slow in the minds of millennials. And I'm a millennial as well, but it's slow in the minds of the millennials and those who follow the millennials. Because if you're using a microwave nowadays, and I was guilty of this as well, so when somebody called me out on it, I was like, that's crazy. When you're using a microwave, and this is off course, but I'm going to make it make sense. When you're using the microwave, sometimes instead of just typing in 30 seconds, you just hit 33 because it's quicker to push 33 than it is to push 30 seconds. Or you just hit the number twice. You just hit 66 or whatever the number is because it's quicker to do that because you're getting to a place to where even though the microwave is fast, you just want to hurry up and use it. And sometimes you're taking it out before it's even done or before the timer go off because if you feeling like it's taking too long. So we've outgrown the microwave society and we've grown into a Wi-Fi society to where we want everything high speed, no cords, wireless, Wi-Fi, and now even advancing into a 5G society. So we've outgrown microwave society and escalating into a 5G society. What does that have to do with the credit sweeps? Everything. You see, a lot of people want their credit to be fixed on 5G. Not understanding that it's 5 factors to your credit score that have to be considered when you're boosting your credit in order to have a fully solid quality score. So what happens with these credit sweeps, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you know that somebody is doing a credit sweep in a different format, you let me know what their process is. But the ones that I'm hearing about operate under this process. And if they're operating under this process, then that can be detrimental to you and your score. And if you're doing this as a specialist, then that can be detrimental to your career and can cause you to, endure some potential jail time, just to be honest with you. And I'm not the one to try to bash or knock a person's method, but if I know it's something that my people might get caught up into just because they want a quick result for either themselves or they're trying to help and get a quick result for their clients so they can put out these disclaimers that they get results. If you're not going about doing it strategically, because there's ways to get a lot of things removed. Hell, I got 17 items removed off of client's report first round, did nothing erroneous, illegal, just looking at the data and saying, okay, these inquiries shouldn't be on here. Okay, let's verify these things because some of this stuff is possibly not even belonging to the client based on the information that I'm lining up. So let's verify this first to see if this is even hers. And sometimes it gets deleted right off the rip. So it's ways to do things legitimately, and it might take longer than a credit sweep. But this is how the credit sweeps have been operating. You got to get away from trying to get something fast And I know they say this, and I'm not the person who believes this because I know that, certain things can be true. But some people say if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. I don't necessarily believe that because sometimes that can block you from making advances or really understanding, the way things are moving because technology and the way knowledge is growing, people are actually getting wealthy faster. People are actually doing things faster. So the idea of doing things in a rapid pace doesn't necessarily make me automatically deem it as too good to be true. But if it is something that sounds too good to be true, what you do want to do is your due diligence. I will say that. So, just in case it sounds too good to be true, don't automatically block it. Look into it and then look into it a little bit more and then look into it a little bit more and see if it's something that you see that can be of benefit to you and your business or your clients. Now, I'm gonna say that to say this. These are some of the things that people are doing as it relates to their credit sweeps. And this is something that, if you're doing it or considering doing it, or, you might want to look into and see what the actual process is. And I had to get my notes because I just wanted to make sure you got the picture. Some of them, what they do is claim all of the negatives are due to identity theft. Now, if you know anything about claiming identity theft on a credit report, most of that stuff has to be validated by some type of police report. You don't want to say it's not yours or it was fraud or identity theft because now you got to back it by some type of police report. But what they're doing is taking an extra step and getting the affidavit signed. Basically, they're getting it notarized and, going through the affidavit process as if these things are true identity theft. So with that being said, if it's looked upon as if it's identity theft, then the affidavit supporting it makes it so that they have to delete all of these negative items until the investigation thoroughly passes. So as a result, yeah, they're getting those things removed right away because the bureaus are looking at it like, okay, there's an affidavit supporting it and it's a police report that's in effect and we're doing the investigation. It might not be there, so let's get it off of their report right away. However, they will go into an investigation, and sometimes different police or whatever have to get involved into the report and have those conversations with the bureaus just to find out that somebody was lying times 10. You know what I mean? So it's legit ways to get stuff removed off of your report. For one, if something goes into collection, a lot of these collection bureaus aren't operating a certain kind of way, and if they're not operating like they're supposed to be, then you got legal laws that protect you that help get things removed. Some of these inquiries are sitting on there longer than they have to be. Some of these inquiries are on your report, and they're not account holding creditors, and it's sitting on your report, and you can get things removed that way. Sometimes the data doesn't match you, and if it doesn't match you, then it shouldn't attach to you. So those are some of the things that you can look at in order to get things removed off of your report legitimately, just using the Fair Credit Reporting Act because it's thorough enough to let you know that you can do things to benefit you without having to do some type of credit sweep and putting you or your clients in harm's way. Now, this also sparks an investigation, like I stated. When they do their credit sweep with the affidavit, it sparks an investigation. A lot of times, police and things of that nature have to get involved. So all of those negatives get removed, and it's temporary. And some people might be getting some results with it, but that may also be temporary because who's to know what the ramifications will be as it relates to somebody who's illegally getting things removed off of credit report. So just something to be aware of. That's just a exposure of credit sweeps and how people are going about doing it. And if somebody has offered a credit sweep to you, look into it. That's all I'm gonna say. And if you're doing credit sweeps and you're using this method, then stop immediately. Or if you're considering doing this, then I strongly discourage it. Or if you're doing it in a way that is not like that to where you're having a lie and you're legally doing some things, then share below. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Call me out on, nah, this ain't how we do it. We do this, this, and this. And get specific on your process. Don't comment under here just to kind of get some clout or some exposure because it's gonna hurt you more than it help you. I promise you. But if it's something that you can educate me on, I'm a student. I'm always willing to learn because the more I learn, the the less I know, the less I feel I know. So I'm not here to say that I know everything, but I know one thing. Sometimes the best way to take is the way that gives you a more quality score as it relates to boosting your credit. Because credit is based on 5 factors. And if you understand that, then there's a lot of different things that you can do to be boosting your score simultaneously, in addition to getting things removed. So instead of doing the credit sweeps, just play the game by the rules. And yeah, I said all the things I wanted to say on the notes so I can turn it in. But the 5 factors of the credit are, as stated in previous videos, but if this is your first introduction to me, you got your payment history. Payment history is 35% of your score. Understanding that is understanding that you want to pay things on time, over time, all the time. And sometimes those things can be removed to strengthen your payment history, but you definitely want to be doing those things. That's one way to keep your credit intact. Understanding the power of payment history, because payment history is a big deal in terms of your score. Next up is credit utilization. That's 30% of your score. And I say that that's my favorite one because it's the one that you have the most control over. That's basically your revolving debt or your credit cards, having that utilization low. So if you got $1,000 credit balance, you want to have that or you got $1,000 credit limit, you want to have the balance under $100 because you want to have it in single digits. Other people say different things. I say single digits. You want to have it in the single digits. So you don't want to really spend no more than $70 on there or carry a balance no more than $70 or be paying it off every single month before the report date kicks in. So that's something to consider. But credit utilization, that's the second factor, and that's 30%. So you're already at 65% of your score just off of those 2 factors alone. Next up is credit history, and that's basically just the age of your credit. How old is your credit? How long have you been utilizing your credit? And that also reflects on your score. So the credit history is the third factor, and the last two, which are both 10% of your score, is credit mix and new credit. So the most recent credit, usually the last 2 years, play a part, and that affects 10% of your credit score. And credit mix is basically the diversification of your score, basically making sure you can balance multiple types of credit. Do you have revolving debt, which is what we talked about in credit utilization with the credit cards? Do you have installment debt, which is the mortgage, personal loan, even student loans, or car notes? Those are installment debts, amongst the other things that we listed in your credit. And if you got a good mix and you're managing those things well, then your credit mix will reflect in, and it helps the overall 10% that is affected by credit mix. But those 5 factors are really what you have to focus on, and how much attention should be applied to each factor is based on your scenario, because everybody's scenario is a little bit different. So I highly recommend, if somebody's going to be restoring your credit, that they understand those 5 factors first and foremost, and then secondly, that they customize a game plan based on your scenario. If you would like our assistance, click one of the links below. We got a link below that gives you all things credit, but one of those things inside of that link will be to schedule a consultation. And if we feel that you're a good fit for our program and we can help you, then we'll proceed. And if you qualify to work with us, then we'll proceed in that area as well. We don't take on our clients. We don't just work with anybody. We want to make sure a person is serious from the beginning. We don't want to waste your time or ours. So if nothing else, you can click that link and get some other tools and resources that we highly recommend for our clients as well as other people to help boost your score the right way without putting yourself in harm's way. So I say that. But credit sweeps have been exposed until further notice, because the way that I just listed it that people are doing it is not the right way to do it. Stay away from it. Run from it. If you're a credit specialist, stop doing it. Don't do it. Don't think about doing it. Keep it moving and stick to what you know that can get results, and keep it legal. And if you're a client, somebody's looking for you to, and you're looking for somebody to restore your credit, stay away from that if you want a solid score, unless you know their methods. And if their methods are like that, then stay away from that. If it's something different, then you inform me down below. But that's all I got. Mr. Smith, signing out.